Hi, my name is Athena. I'm a mother of 3 kids and 1 baby in heaven. Today I'm here to talk about my stillbirth. So back in 2020, I was due to give birth in August to a baby girl. And throughout the pregnancy, the start, I had extreme morning sickness, vomiting, unbearable nausea. It was just horrendous. Eventually that subsided, and the rest of my pregnancy I had gestational diabetes. I also had gestational diabetes with my previous 2 kids. So at the time, I had a 3-year-old and a 1.5-year-old. Then pregnant, and also pregnant. The rest of the pregnancy was normal, straightforward. Every obstetrician appointment, baby was growing really well. Everything was on point. Her measurements were good. I never had really big babies. I always had smaller babies, but very long babies. So she was kind of measuring around the same as my other previous 2 bubs. My pregnancy went all the way up to 36 weeks. The night before I found out my baby had passed away, it was a normal night. I had a shower, I was going to bed, and I had noticed that my baby had flipped basically from up to down or down to up, I don't know, but it was a massive flip that I've never felt before. And I was like, whoa, what is going on? After that, I went to sleep, fell asleep, and then the next morning I woke up and I felt no movement. Usually her movements wake me up in the morning, and this morning I never felt any movement. I then got up and I noticed that my pregnancy symptoms had gone away, but it still didn't occur to me something really bad had happened. Then throughout the day, I had felt that my stomach had dropped. So I just felt a sunken, dropped feeling. I then called my obstetrician, went straight in for an appointment. When I got there, he did an ultrasound on me, and I will never forget the look on his face. He looked at me, his face went white, and he said to me, Athena, there's no fluid around the baby. I didn't know what that meant. I said, what do you mean? I looked at my husband, he was there at the time, and the doctor said to me, Athena, there's no heartbeat. My heart's racing now just talking about it. I said, what do you mean there's no heartbeat? He said, your baby is dead. Your baby has died. And I said, what are you talking about? The shock of it. He said, Athena, I'm so sorry. Your baby has passed. She's not alive. I looked at my husband. My husband looked at me, and the terror, the shock, you name it, all these thoughts were going through my head. How did this happen? What happened? I wanted answers straight away, but I couldn't get any answers straight away. There was no answers. My doctor said, I'll give you a moment. He left the room. I looked at my husband. I said, what the hell? I'm 36 weeks. My bags were packed. What's happened? What has caused this? I just wanted answers, and I wasn't getting any answers. The doctor came back into the room and said to me, now, Athena, I'm sorry, I have to tell you, we have to go through this, but you need to make a decision what you want to do. Do you want to have a cesarean, or do you want to give birth naturally? He said, you can't leave the baby inside you for too much longer. I still couldn't believe it. I said, what happened? He just couldn't give me any answers. He said, we don't know, Athena, but you need to make a decision. And I don't want to push you, but I can fit you in this afternoon with whatever you want to do. And then this message from the universe, God, said to me, give birth naturally. You'll be all right. You can do this. Devastated to the core. I'm absolutely shattered. I'm shaking. I'm crying. But I had no choice. I had no choice. There's nothing I could do. So that afternoon, my husband and I went to the hospital and I had an induction to be induced. And within an hour, I started to get contractions. And I said, it's happening. The contractions came on very fast. And I was ready to give birth. The birth was very fast. It only took me about an hour to give birth to her. And the worst part is when she was finally in my arms, she looked absolutely perfect. That was probably the hardest part. Looking at her and seeing that she was absolutely perfect. What happened? What? There's nothing wrong with her. What happened? The midwives were amazing. They gave me an option to stay with my baby as long as I wanted, hours, even days. But I just wanted answers straight away. And I couldn't look. I looked at her for a little bit, but I couldn't look at her for too long because I was going to die. I was going to die. And so I gave her to the midwives and I said goodbye. And went back to my room, and then someone came in, a really nice lady. I don't remember if she was a midwife, but gave me the option if I wanted to have her buried or cremated. And I chose to have her cremated, which is strange in a way because it's not, we don't cremate in I'm Greek Orthodox and we don't cremate, we bury. But I wasn't ready to go to a cemetery yet. I wasn't ready to go to a cemetery, so I chose to have her cremated so that I could have her with me wherever I go. That was the choice that I made. And I'm happy I did that. So after that, I had to wait 6 weeks for the autopsy. I asked to have an autopsy to know exactly what had happened. And eventually I found out that it was a fetal maternal hemorrhage. So a fetal maternal hemorrhage was something I never heard about before, but the obstetrician explained it to me this way that I could understand. So in the umbilical cord, there's a wall that you can't really see that's slightly open to let vitamins and minerals through from mother to baby, and a little tiny bit of blood passes through, but nothing. What had happened to my baby, and her name is Angel, by the way. I never said her name. Her name is Angel. That wall had opened up so far that she hemorrhaged into my bloodstream. And apparently it happened very fast. So there was no chance to save her or have her out any earlier. It happened so quickly that there was nothing that they could do to keep her here. So yeah, that's what happened. And apparently it's a 1 in 1,000 chance that something like this could happen. and it happened to me, and I'm here to talk about it because when I have spoken about my stories, it's amazing how many other people have opened up about their stillbirth stories, which I can't believe it's happened to a lot of people, but nobody speaks about it. And so knowing all that information, I had a little bit of peace. I wouldn't say I ever had complete peace, because I haven't, and I never will, because you never ever forget. You never fully recover from something so traumatic. So I just wanted to talk about it. So after I chose to have her cremated, my recovery, I never tore or anything like that, so I was able to leave the hospital. And I remember on my way out of the hospital, I could see mothers taking their babies home. All their little bundles, taking them home, and I just was devastated that I had nothing to take home. I didn't have my baby to take home, and I could see all these mothers walking out, and I tried so hard to keep it together to walk to the car. I didn't want anyone to know what I had been through, and I had tried so hard to keep it together. It's very, very, very difficult. And so when I got home, I had to face walking into her room that I had all set up. Her clothes, her shoes, her nappies, just every little detail. My son asking, where's the baby? Because at the time he was 3, he knew that there was a baby coming. My 1.5-year-old didn't really understand, but I explained to my 3-year-old that I told him the truth. I said to him that the baby was a girl and her name is Angel, but Angel is now up in heaven and she lives with God. And she's an angel. She's got wings and she looks down on us and she protects us and she watches over us. He said, so she's an angel? And I said, yes, she's an angel. And what's really funny is we went out to the park, I'd say a month later after it happened, and he found a feather on the ground. And he said, look, Mum, that's Angel's feather from her wings. And I said, yes, it is. And he said, oh, she's always with us. And I said, she sure is. Kids are amazing. They're so innocent. And that innocence doesn't have any doesn't block their intuition. And it was like a sign or proof that she was around us. So straight away, as a healing mechanism for me, I wanted to have another baby because I had everything. I had all of her stuff, and I wanted her to come back to me. So my husband and I, as soon as I recovered and got my periods back, my cycles back, we started to try for another baby. I think it was the first or second, I'd say it was the second try I fell pregnant, but I had a miscarriage at 6 weeks. So I didn't let that upset me too much. I kind of thought it maybe it was too soon to start trying. My body wasn't ready. My obstetrician advised me to wait 6 months before I start trying, but I was impatient. Anyway, it took me about 7 months after that birth that I fell pregnant with my 4th baby, which was another girl. And we named her Sophia. And Sophia is a healthy, knock on wood, girl, and she wears all of her sister's clothes and shoes, and she is an energetic baby who we love very much and adore. So like I said, I have 3 earthling children and 1 in heaven. So that's my journey. The last 2 years have been, even though I've had another baby since then, it doesn't heal you. It helps you forget. There's some days where you don't, it doesn't replay in your head. The trauma of it sometimes, well, every day, there's not a day that goes by where I don't think about her or what had happened. And your body doesn't forget. Especially when I did give birth to her and I went home from the hospital, my body was ready to feed a baby. And that was also devastating. My milk came in and I had no baby to feed. And my body was saying, where's your baby? You got to feed your baby, where's your baby? And if it wasn't for my other children, I would have died. But I had to stay strong and be strong for those kids. Although I felt like a limb was missing, they kept me going. So that's my story. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Also ring the bell because I have some more clips coming all about motherhood, fertility, and getting pregnant at 40, and a whole lot more. So stay tuned.